welcome back. We know inflation has impacted prices at the grocery store. We're all paying more for milk and eggs these days.
We can feel it. So Kroger has come under fire recently. The FTC is suing to block a merger with another large grocery chain. Now, according to a Newsweek article we've seen, a Kroger executive admitted during an FTC hearing to raising egg and milk prices beyond the rate of inflation. That's a quote. Kroger responded by saying to Bloomberg the quote had been cherry-picked and that there were additional factors that should be considered.
Dr. Matt Will is an associate professor of finance at the University of Indianapolis. He's here to help us understand what exactly going on here. So you've got one side saying this is perhaps price gouging. You got Kroger saying no, it's more complicated than that. Who's right?
Well, they're both right. But the reality is that what we have here is Kroger. And in fact, let's let the viewers decide.
Okay.
Their profit margin last year was 1.48%. That was it.
Wow.
Well, if you had a money manager who had that kind of profit for the year, you'd probably fire them. So they didn't do a great job in making a profit. But the egg prices did go up. And there's a reason. In March, there was the avian flu. And a lot of producers of eggs had to kill their entire, do you call it a flock or a brood? I'm not sure, one of those things.
Either one will
Their
work.
group of birds.
A group of birds.
Yeah.
So that caused the price to go up. It's simple supply and demand. It's like with the fever tickets. There's a big demand this year, so prices are up.
Yeah.
Where if they were in Lucas Oil Stadium, prices wouldn't be so high because there's plenty of seats.
More seats, yeah.
So simply supply and demand. And in fact, the prices have come back down. So, but no one's sending a thank you note to Kroger for the prices coming down.
So prices have gone down then,
They
on
have
average.
significantly since March, yes.
Oh, wow. So, okay, I still feel like I'm paying a lot. So we've heard that the food industry is actually dominated by a lot of large companies, and that means that there's less competition and higher prices, as you just mentioned, supply and demand. So what specifically is happening here with this group, with the Kroger being potentially joining another organization?
And that's another thing where both sides are correct. There are very few. In fact, and let's pick on meat, for example. There's 6 companies that produce all the meat products in the country. Why is it so few? Because they don't make much money. Tyson Foods last year, the largest, lost $650 million. And so what's happening with Kroger and Tyson and other ones, since they can't make money, it's hard to make money in food. Because if you go to Kroger and you don't like the prices, you go to Meijer. If you don't like Meijer, you go to Aldi.
Or Costco or Sam's Club or whatever.
Bread is bread. And so it's very hard to make a profit. So there's been a lot of consolidation in this industry, and it's probably going to continue. And that's kind of the debate going on in Washington. Should we let them merge or let them, require them to stay independent?
Yeah.
They may not survive. They may go bankrupt if they don't merge at some point, but you don't want too few. If you get too few, then you don't have competition.
Yeah, we have to wrap. Are prices going up or down?
Yes.
Right.
Okay.
We think
Thank you
you're
for
right.
that succinct answer.
Thank you very much for being here. Have a great weekend. Well, new data from the Federal Reserve shows inflation held steady last month at 2.5%. That's just shy of the Fed's target of 2%. And it looks like consumer spending is holding steady too, increasing slightly in July. This comes just weeks before the Fed is expected to start cutting interest rates. Of course, we're keeping a close eye on that.
Yeah.